Here's Steven. Dr. Steven, Dr. Vibe.
All right. Well, that was an amazing panel. Okay, a round of applause for all the amazing talent that was up here. Yes. And hello, High Vibe TV. There's, as much as we have this going on here live, there's a whole live stream happening right now. Are you guys aware of that? Of the live stream? So there's a collective, and we're talking about energy. We're talking about the field. And I feel beyond the energy that we're creating here at High Vibes TV, there's a collective community that's happening. So I want to acknowledge everybody that's listening to this and watching this on YouTube and on Facebook and through the subscription. Everybody, let's take a deep breath in together. And just breathe out the energy and vibration of gratitude and elevation and good vibes. Who feels they got good vibes here? Show of hands. All right, 2 hands are going up. Amazing. Well, my name is Dr. Steven Schwartz. They call me Dr. Vibe. And I'm a chiropractor by license, and I'm going to be spending the next half hour or so talking with you about vibration and frequencies, sound, light, frequency, and vibration, and shifting and influencing physiology. Like I said, my background, I'm a chiropractor by license. I'm from the East Coast, New Jersey, but I spent my professional career in Denver, Colorado, specializing with chronic degenerative conditions and allergies and autoimmune diseases. I remember I graduated from chiropractic school, and I ended up moving out to Colorado to work with snowboarders and extreme sport athletes. That's what I went to undergrad for sports medicine. And my mother was diagnosed with an autoimmune disease when I was in chiropractic school, and I just watched her degenerate. And my dad, he's a pharmacist. So I had this, however, in the pharmacy that I grew up in New Jersey in the 70s and 80s, we had a health food section in there. So I think my folks were pretty progressive along those times as I was growing up, which I didn't really understand until I got much older. As this was unfolding and I was moving to Colorado and I was living there and I was practicing, my mother was degenerating, and I was working with a doctor that was working with energy, kinesiology, muscle reflex testing. How many people in the room are familiar with muscle reflex testing and kinesiology? So at the time, I was in my mid-20s. I didn't know anything about energy medicine, and I'll retract that statement. I didn't consciously know anything about energy medicine, but when I look back at all the little seeds that were being planted over the couple years, I had some very profound energetic experiences that really paved the way for what was happening. All right, I'll share a quick story. I was seeing, I was like, what am I going to be talking about with you guys up on stage here? I'll tell you the quick intro, because it is energy, and it's about resonance, and it's about frequency, and it is truly about the law of attraction. Whether you're conscious or not, you're still attracting anyway. And when I was in my early 20s and still in school, I remember I was driving down the street, going who knows where, and I was at a red light, and something in my mind said, look to the right, and there was a sign in this window that said Yoga Tai Chi, and for whatever reason at that moment, I diverted my trip and made a right and turned into this parking lot and went inside his health food store, a place I'd never been before, and I said to the gentleman, I'm interested in whatever that sign is. And he said, come back at 2 o'clock on Tuesdays, and we do these group healing sessions. It's donation only. And I went. And we learned, it was the most incredible experience ever of my young life. And the gentleman that owned the health food store was also a martial artist, and he taught us how to do Tai Chi, to cultivate our own internal energy and then to deliver it through shiatsu on each other in the attic of this random health food store in Long Island, New York. And it was total monkey see, monkey do, and I started doing this protocol that I knew nothing about, and people started having these profound healing experiences. And it was blowing my mind. And I would go to like my roommate and I said, hey, I just learned this, and I do it. And he had some profound healing experience. And then he told somebody, and then they had profound healing experiences. And I just started doing this thing, and it was working. What was it working on? It was working on everything, whatever they came to me for. But I never said to myself, oh, I'm some kind of guru or special healer. I thought, I'm learning something and I'm activating energy in some way, shape, or form. Time is limited, so to cut to the chase on that, I had an interesting energy experience that scared me. And I retired from doing that energy work after a short few months because I didn't understand it. And after that, I graduated chiropractic school, worked in Philly for a little bit, and then moved to Colorado, and I ended up getting this job in this center, this multidisciplinary center with this chiropractor that was doing kinesiology and muscle testing and all these things. And she was getting results with everything. And I told her about my mother. My mother came out to visit, and for the first time, my mother improved. And she said to me, you should go learn this. Not my mother, the doctor. And that took me to California for the first time in my life. And I learned, I didn't know anything about kinesiology. In fact, I was learning how to muscle test. I was lining up on the wrong side of the table and pushing on the wrong side of the arm. Just everything was, but I had a profound experience that weekend that I had a connection that said, I was just getting a yes. Everybody just shake your head. Yes. How many people spend their lives doing this? We're living in a yes universe, and that's the first thing, because energy is everything's energy, good and bad, dark and white, good and bad. So how are we aligning ourselves to this vibrational resonance? And I got a very strong yes, and that basically took me on my path. And I said to myself, I had such reverence for the power of healing and energy after what happened to me when I was a student. I said, I'm only going to do this if I can feed my left brain so I can understand it. And this was in 2000, and I basically started running a last resort center. People that weren't getting results with chronic degenerative conditions, allergies, autoimmune diseases, things that just people don't get better from, were coming to me. And I was using these early techniques, and I dove heavily into quantum physics, into microbiology, into astrology, into numerology, into channeling, into everything. And I said to myself, if energy is everything, then I cannot deny any of that. And I'm, as a young doctor, thirsty for information. I took it all in. And it was an incredible time. It still is an incredible time. It was the foundation. So that was 2000, and really it kind of took me all around the world, studying indigenous cultures and things like that. But it was all based off of some basic questions that I asked myself. There's so many amazing healers. Why are these people coming to me? What would I possibly do different that they're not doing that would get these people results that they're not getting elsewhere? And then I started asking myself the question, what is going on with these chronic degenerative patients? What's happening? What is the process all about? And it's not about what I learned in school, but what's the process? And it came down to three things. A, the body's out of balance. B, chronic systemic inflammation. And C, cellular memory. So I got In fact, my story, heard me as she's talked about her walkabout that she's been on that took her to Peru that she didn't have time to get into. I'm excited to talk to her about that. I ended up having a very interesting shamanic experience in 2004. Actually, after going to a 4-day conference with people I'm sure you're all familiar with Bruce Lipton. First time I saw Bruce Lipton in 2004, Greg Braden, and Dr. Todd. I'm not sure if everybody knows Dr. Todd. He's amazing. In fact, I ended up following this guy to Mount Shasta back in 2004. But I went to Mount Shasta after this 4-day conference with these guys down in New Mexico via Peru. And I was living in Colorado. So I went from Colorado to New Mexico. And all of it came through sound. Sound healing. There was a lot. This was 2004. These were earliest days for me. And over those 4 days, Bruce Lipton lectured on his book, Biology of Belief, which really deeply resonated with me. Talked about epigenetics. Really what I felt validated everything I was thinking, but then he validated it scientifically, which was great. But also they talked about the effects of our voice and all these different instruments and how they can influence unwinding our DNA. And one of the instruments that what they were talking about was the didgeridoo. Who's familiar with the didgeridoo? Show of hands. So I said to myself, I think I need to get me one of them there didgeridoos. And within a few weeks, one randomly came into my life. And of course, I couldn't get anything to come out of it. And I was online trying to figure out whatever it was, but I got an email that there was a Peruvian didgeridoo playing shaman coming to my favorite place where I'd go for spiritual gatherings. And so I went to meet him, and we're the same age. So we were this was like our late 20s, a young shaman. And I said, hey, I have this didgeridoo. I don't know how to play it, but can you teach me? And he says, buy a session for me and bring it, and we'll see what happens. And so he would channel through the didge and get all this information. And I remember halfway through, he put down his didge and picked up mine, and I was like, wow, it does work. There is sound. There is sound that comes out of that. And he invited me to come with him on this magic journey to Peru. And I went. And it changed my life. And I'm sharing the story with you because it was what began the whole journey with me about cellular memory. Because I knew I was going on a shamanic journey. I didn't know what I was in store for because I'd never been to a jungle or been to South America, any of those things before. But I did write out a list of all these intentions of things that I wanted to accomplish, that I wanted to work on intentionally in this. And I can tell you that on both pages that I wrote, nowhere on that list was anything about me drinking, because I never thought that I was like an alcoholic. But, I was in my 20s, and I was living in Denver, and I had my friends, and we'd go out to the bars all the time. And I left on the day after St. Patrick's Day, which was a big party, and I came back for opening day in Denver, which is for baseball, which is also a big party. And what happened between point A and point B was a complete life switch where I remember my friends were like, oh, how's Peru? Let me buy you a drink. And I remember looking at it and saying to myself, I don't even want to put this to my lips. Like, I have a zero feeling of wanting to put this in my body. Not that it repelled me or not anything. It was just gone. Whatever feeling. And it was my favorite drink. I used to like drinking Greyhounds. Who's familiar with Greyhounds? Vodkas and grapefruits? Those were my favorites. Yeah, I see a bartender in the back there, right? Those are my favorites. And there was nothing in there that wanted me to have one sip of that. And in my mind, that took me into a place of cellular memory. It was gone. What happened on that journey, where did it become gone? I'm not sure, but I only know is that vibrationally it was gone. And I took that into my practice, and I became obsessed about how do I clear cellular memory. And then that took me into the physiology. What is cellular memory? Well, our cells are basic. We consist of 70% water, 70 to 90% water. And I'd like to actually repeat after me. Let's take a quick little break, okay? Repeat after me, everybody. Hydrate, vibrate, gyrate. Hydrate, vibrate, gyrate. That's where it all begins. Our cells are 70 to 90% water. And then what surrounds our cells, it gives our exoskeleton, our living connective tissue matrix. And what are they made up of? The fancy scientific medical words are microfilaments, microtubules, intermediate tubules. And what do? They respond to your environment through vibrational resonance. That's what they do. That's their biological function. And what are some of the all-star biological pathways that microfilaments, intermediate tubules, and microtubules facilitate? Mitosis and signal transduction. What the heck is that? Mitosis, how our cells replicate. Signal transduction, how our cells communicate. You think that's important for healing? Show of hands, who thinks how our cells communicate and how our cells replicate are important? And what initiates them? What initiates that process? The living connective tissue matrix that responds to the body through vibrational resonance of its environment. That's what Bruce Lipton talks about, epigenetics. And what does that feed into? 70 to 90% water. And what does Dr. Samuel Hahnemann, the father of homeopathy, what does he say about that? He's the founder he developed homeopathy and says, if you take a physical substance, that the energetic signature is more powerful than the physical substance itself. So if you're allergic to bees and you ingest like bee venom, it can cure you from being allergic to bee stings. I look at it from, you have a trauma. You've been in an auto accident. You've been divorced. You broke up with somebody. Something like you lost a job. You got thrown out of your company. Whatever, something like that. That happened. You had a physical insult. Energetically, how long is that scar going to stay with you? Because the energetic signature is more powerful than the physical insult itself. You're in an auto accident. Okay, you break your leg. Leg heals. How long are you freaked out from driving? Potentially forever. You are in a bad relationship. You break up. You have a divorce. How many times are you going to get divorced? Are you going to attract the same person? Or is that same divorce going to happen over and over and over and over again? Or are you going to be able to clear it? That's cellular memory. I used to say to my patients, okay, cool, you're legally divorced. Now, are you energetically divorced? How do we clear that? Through vibrational resonance. So this was my practice. And I worked with all these different energetic techniques from 2000 to 2007. And I was opening up a large center, and I was bringing in associates, and I was like, there's no way I could be reproducing my Schwartz alchemy tool test that I had going on. I need a different delivery system. And I asked myself a question. Okay, if I can't use, and what I was using, these little energy vials. They were basically glass tubes that had water in them, and there was an energetic signature in them, and I would put them into people's energy field, muscle test, and reprogram, and I had all these techniques and stuff when I say that, is that weird to any of you guys, or no, because this is high vibe TV, right? Yeah, I figured you guys would get it. But let me ask you, so here's where I was with somebody that doesn't know anything about that. I said to myself, wait, a glass tube with water in it, and I put that into your field, and next thing you know, people don't have asthma, don't have allergies, don't have all these different things. How is that? Because we're water, and we're vibrational resonance. And if somebody comes up and stands in your field, you either say, that's creepy, or, oh, I love that. Or you watch something on TV, and that freaks you out, or you're super into it. Or you walk or you eat something, and next thing you know, you're having an allergic reaction. What's the difference? It's just a signature in your field that your body is responding to. It's the same difference. Neurologically, your brain doesn't know the difference between on or off. It's a binaural code. Plus, it's a 0 or a 1. It's off or on. It's a The fancy neuroscience term is depolarization versus repolarization. Our cells are on or off. Positive chemistry, negative chemistry. So I said, if I'm not going to use these little vials, what else could I use? So I ran an experiment with one of my patients who's a professional musician, and I said, hey, do you have any health issues? And he said, I do. I just started dating this girl that has 3 cats. I really like her, but I'm deathly allergic to cats, and it's kind of a mess. I go over there and I'm snotty and inflamed, and it's not sexy. So I'm like, awesome. This sounds great, because one of my clinics I ran at the time was called the Allergy Stop. It was a holistic allergy treatment center in Denver, and I had a very specific cat allergy protocol that I had very consistent results with. So for me to reproduce this, I went to his recording studio, and I said, here's my allergy treatment protocol. How do we put this into your recording software? And I ended up treating his cat allergies. He had a very severe cat allergy. He had 18 out of 22 samples we tested he had a reaction to. And over 4 visits, we treated him and eliminated the allergy. And he's married to the woman to this day. And they have a baby, and I think they live with the cats still. And that was the beginning of my music company, Bioharmonic Technologies, because I said, cool, this is a delivery system. And people always ask me if I'm a musician, and I guess I am a musician, because I have 7 albums that I've recorded since 2007, but I feel that I'm more of a doctor studying music. Why am I a doctor studying music? Because it just makes the most sense for me to directly influence chemistry. Because we are physical, here, repeat this after me too. We are physical manifestations of our own energetic expressions. Are you guys doing that on YouTube? YouTube, Facebook? One more time. We are physical manifestations of our own energetic expressions. We're energy first and physical second. So as I started studying, looking deeper into this, and I looked into quantum physics in this world of infinite possibilities. Because what does Newtonian physics say? Newtonian physics says, I take this ball and I throw it at you, acceleration, mass, speed, velocity, and it impacts you, and that's what happens. It's based off of gravity in 3 dimensions. Quantum physics says that we are a field of infinite possibilities based off of dimensions. And what are dimensions? Dimensions are physical spaces. So what is an interdimensional portal? Doorway, portal, inter, between the measurable spaces. So again, a doorway, portal, space between a measurable space. Based off of quantum physics, we have infinite dimensions that we can choose from. So now I said to myself, how do I apply this? How do I make a practical application as a delivery system for my clients, for my patients? And in 2010, just after this after doing this experiment with the cat allergy, I also started developing a biofeedback system. And in 2010, I developed a biofeedback system as well. But we were also working with this music. I had 3 albums out by 2010, 2011. And where does light come in? Because we are light. One of my favorite processes I love to explain is called photonic emission. Everybody say photonic emission. Photonic emission. It sounds so scientific, right? What is it? Photon, light, emission. We emit light. Photonic emission is a scientific term that says when electrons, so protons, neutrons, electrons, protons, neutrons, and then you have these spinning electrons that go around them. So protons, neutrons, there's a nucleus, and then you have these spinning electrons. Based off of quantum physics, we say that it's all of the movement of these electrons, and that they penetrate, they influence, so light influences the way your electrons orient themselves. So you're sitting right there right now in all your beauty and all your glory. Your electrons are vibrating in one specific pattern in one cell multiplied by infinite 100 trillion. And then the difference between light and sound is speed. So if you slow light down into sound, you ground light into a three-dimensional dimension, measurable space. So sound, light, frequency, and vibration. This is the foundation for creating interdimensional portals. And that's how many people got an opportunity to get on the vibe that I have set up in the back? Show of hands. Handful of people, a couple of you. If you haven't experienced the vibe stands for vibrational, individualized body enhancement systems. They're interdimensional portals for your living room or for your clinic or for your life. They're using sound, light, frequency, and vibration and specific harmonic resonance to align yourself into a dimension, here's the key, of your choosing. Because you're picking a dimension. You might not like the dimension you're in, and you're like, get me out of this dimension. But you've chose it. And how do you get there? Through frequency. So I don't know how much time exactly that I have left. Is this, you guys enjoying yourself? Thank you. I like when Abby was like, okay, you got 30 minutes. Like, okay, how to explain interdimensional portals in 30 minutes. Actually, 30 minutes is a lot. I just did a talk a few weeks ago at a place called Wake Up OC. It's like a biohacking transformational experience. And they gave me 5 minutes to talk. And I said to at first you're like, oh, only 5 minutes? But I was like, what can I say in 5 minutes that to get through to people? So that's where we are. So this is great. Abby, thank you so much for the time. What I'm going to do now, though, who wants to hear some of this music? All right. Actually, I need the cord. I need the aux cord. Oh, right here. Awesome. That's great. 10 minutes is perfect. Oh, and by the way, this is my book, Primal Resonance, Discover the Secrets to Health, Vitality, and Optimal Human Performance. We have some copies in the back if you guys are interested. This has been referred to as the doctrine to the new earth. And it talks about the top 10 lists on how to reverse aging and degeneration using sound, light, and frequency technologies and chronic systemic inflammation. But what we're going to do now, we're going to have a little journey, shall we? Okay. 10 minutes is perfect. So I lead these. People used to ask me, well, what do you put in your music? Is it binaural beats? Yes, we have binaural beats. But we have all kinds of stuff that goes into the music. And the key word is not so much about frequencies. It's about, here, repeat this word, signatures. What's a signature? It's an impulse. It's an imprint. It's an expression. It's a signature. So I'm very much into how do we capture signatures? Those little vials, you know what they had inside the vials? Signatures. And we would put the signatures into your field, and your neurology would say, what does this mean, on or off? So I was like, cool, if I could do that with a vial, I can definitely do it with music. So we started formulating. I came up with this very specific formula, just as you would formulate like an essential oil blend, or you could formulate a homeopathic blend. Now you're adding a pinch of this and a little bit of that, and you create something that you could take as a tincture or some soap or something you put on your body or a lotion. We're doing that with music, and they're called sonic ceuticals. So I have 7 sonic ceutical albums that have been out since 2007, 42 different tracks. And the delivery system for making these vibes came through in 2009. So let's just start with the basics, shall we? I said to myself, if I'm going to be delivering something, because normally, by the time I started working with technology, it was 2012. My biofeedback system had been out, and it was a very one-on-one process. Like, okay, you're visiting me in my clinic for X, and I'm working with you for X. So if I'm going to be making an album for everybody, I need a delivery system that everybody can connect with. So what's the foundation? And it begins right here. Everybody just take a deep breath in. Why don't you take another deep breath in right now and just close your eyes if you'd like. There's nothing you need to see here right now. This is the time for your connective tissue and nervous system to be awakened. And what you're hearing is the highway to your connective tissue. And it's the phi ratio. The foundational root of the Fibonacci sequence. The mathematical ratio for everything in the universe. Not just our connective tissue, but for plants, for the planets, for really well-made, vibey architecture. So take a deep breath in. And as we want to drive this deeper into your nervous system, what you're going to hear over the next few minutes is a sequence of spinal frequencies. And if you feel any blockages come up anywhere in your body, the remedy for that is to take a deep breath in and acknowledge the blockage and simply ask it if it would like to let itself go, release itself. Or you can even ask, why is it blocked in the first place? And then wait to hear the answer. Now that we're going systemic, let's work with the brain. As this is a very light daydream in alpha brainwave states, we begin to entrain not just your brain, but your entire neurological expression. And then we drop deeper into theta. Research shows that 20 minutes in theta is equivalent to 8 hours of sleep. And it's the deepest level where healing can occur in all your brainwave states. So I invite you to take another breath at this time and allow this homogenation of frequencies to permeate to all aspects of your being. I've been researching frequencies since 2007, and I have frequencies from many different places. My time is short, so I'm just going to pick a couple of frequencies at this moment. How about these are through my vibroacoustic research. 52 to 68 hertz reduces anxiety. Research has shown 52 to 68 hertz. And for all of you on YouTube and Facebook, you can still receive this transmission. So I hope you're sitting back and relaxing and taking in a deep breath at this time, because we're spreading these harmonic frequencies through the internet. is 285 hertz, a solfeggio frequency for tissue repair. And what I want to leave you with this small sample of the effects of frequencies is some of my most recent research. Because remember, it comes back to the word signature. What's a signature? It's a neurological imprint. And I said to myself, if I can imprint signatures for the nervous system, what else can be a signature? So I have this biofeedback machine that you plug into plants, and it interprets the biofield of plants as music. So we get so much nutrition through consuming plants. What if we lay in the field of plants? And what you're listening to now is a live plant recording of white sage. There's no filters on this. Just my electrodes plugged into a white sage bush. And instead of burning sage to clear your energy field, you now receive that same energy pulsing through your spine, carried along the highway of the solfeggio frequencies, of the phi ratio rather, for clearing your energy field and purification. And how about if we add in lavender? Some deep relaxation. So take a deep breath in and allow this field of harmonic resonance to permeate every tissue, system, and cell of your body. As this frequency sonic alchemy journey begins to wind down, tune in to this microdose of frequency experience and know that these frequencies are going to be with you beyond the completion of this demonstration. So as we begin to wind down this journey and our time together, and I begin to pull you, assist you rather, in coming back to a fully alert beta brainwave space, I'm wanting you to walk away with the understanding that we are sound, light, frequency, and vibration. And we are physical manifestations of our own energetic expressions. And in order to optimize our human performance and potential, there's 3 very simple ingredients. Hydrate, vibrate, and gyrate. As I return you back to the foundational mathematics of our connective tissue and of the universe, the phi ratio, we are all connected. We are all one, and we are all vibrating. And the best way for us to make change globally is to raise our vibration. And as we raise our vibration, it permeates to everyone around us. And that's why High Vibes TV is so necessary this day and age. And that's also why we created these vibe systems, so we can plant energetic nodes of high vibration all over this beautiful planet of ours. Because I believe that with every person whose vibration that we elevate, we begin to transform the consciousness of this planet. Let's take a deep breath in. Let's take a deep breath in together, shall we? Deep breath in. And let it all out. My name is Dr. Stephen Schwartz, Dr. Vibe. I'm a sonic alchemist, regenerative medicine expert. I'm a visionary technology designer, create these vibe systems in the world of sound, light, frequency, and vibration, and we're committed to raising the vibration of the planet and harmonizing humanity using sound, light, frequency, and vibration. And why do we do that? Because it's who we are, and it's the foundations for influencing our chemistry. And I'm just so honored to be here and be a part of this. And I thank you all so much. Please come and vibe with myself and Brielle here in the back as we're holding down the vibe zone. And for all of you that are tuning in from another world, please come find us, come visit me through Bioharmonic Technologies, www.bioharmonictechnologies.com, Instagram, Facebook, all of those channels. And I have a show as well called The Epic Vibe Show with Dr. Vibe. And I invite all of you to tune in and be a part of that. And that's going to be starting in 2020. So thank you all so much, and God bless.
Thank you, brother. That was awesome. By the way, when I'm doing spiritual dance music, some people should be in those beds. And you're going to leave a bed, I think, here, right, for people to come if they ever want to come try to see if they want one in their life, right?
That's a possibility. We can actually plug in the DJ booth directly into the vibes.
Really?
Oh yeah.
I've got a XLR right by your bed.
Easy enough to do. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
this
brother.
is really, really awesome.
No,
and
you were
I really
awesome,
appreciate
dude.
being a part of this. Thank you all.
Thank you.